Hello and welcome to ET Realty's special series of Urban Visionaries. For the fourth episode of this series, we have with us Mr. Gian P, Mathur, founder and MD, GPM Architects. Hello, Mr. Mathur.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you.
First question I would like to start with is, government has been talking about sustainability, net zero and green buildings a lot. They have set target of being net zero by 2070, and with which the industries, all the industries, including real estate and construction industries, have also started focusing on this. They have announced a lot of plans. Several companies have announced a lot of plans. But on ground implementation, when it comes to on ground implementation, how have you seen the implementation happening? Where are we as of now when it comes to green building, sustainability, net zero? How much the construction industry and real estate needs to contribute, and what are the things that are happening, and what are the challenges that do you think are the industry is facing, and how we can overcome that?
This is very important as far as today's concern about construction is going on. Basically, government had announced some norms to be kept in mind while planning and designing and all that. But then the biggest push came when Noida announced a policy in which they said that if you adopt a green building certification system and you achieve certain numbers in that, then you get some additional FAR. So that incentive of that FAR created a lot of change. Noida was one of the first ones, because normally a builder would do anything which if he gets something in return. So that is how it started. So now people are talking about, so government had announced earlier it was only IGBC which was giving certification, then Greha came in. Now CPWD has also come up with their own program, and then SHM has also come up with another. They are all doing certification, and then on the basis of what kind of ranking they are getting into additional FARs. That FAR varies from 3 to 15%, and in Gurgaon has also come up with scheme. Now all states have come up with different schemes. So this is giving a lot of incentive to builders to adopt those schemes as far as builders are concerned. Then government has made it mandatory in all contracts that all the construction which is taking place now has to be at least Greha 3-star rated. At least 3 years. People are targeting for 5-star also, platinum rating also, and things like that. So based upon that, now in Gurgaon it is taking that about up to 12% of the additional FAR they are getting. So that is a big incentive. So I think now everybody is following the norms. I mean, as far as net zero is concerned, yes. I mean, most of the buildings are not coming with whatever redevelopment we are doing in Delhi also is coming up with totally net zero. All the rainwater harvesting has taken place. I mean, STP water is being treated, grey water has been treated and used in flushing and gardening and all that. So that is happening. Now that has become a reality. All the construction waste is being recycled. Right? Recycled in the form of, you can make some aggregate out of it, you can make paper blocks out of it for paving and all that. So everything is happening like that. So insulation, roof insulations, exterior paints, inside paints, and everything has been now, people are following. Even the construction materials like plywood and all are also rated. So that is being followed. So there is a long list of what is supposed to be done, what are electricity levels, use of solar energy, and I think nowadays, I think all buildings have come up with, I think any kind of development today is happening with these factors.
What about the cement and steel factor, steel industry?
No, you see what is happening is use of cement has changed. We started using a lot of ash-based cement, mixing ash into it. So that is happening. Steel, minimizing the use of steel, maybe a little bit. Then what is happening is that now these are few things which are taking place in building. But now the next step is to reduce carbon footprint. Carbon footprint, a lot of working is going on that. A lot of small, like we were doing Udaipur airport, and then we just did one small step, was that no tissue papers will be used. I was told that we will be able to get 8% carbon, save 8% carbon footprints only because of that. So these are many factors which people were not really aware earlier. So a lot of information is coming in, a lot of knowledge is coming in into this, and things are changing. Trees play a very important role. So instead of cutting the trees, now what we are doing is we are replanting the trees. There is about 80% can be saved. I won't say that 100% can be saved, but about 80%, 70 to 80%. Technology has improved quite a lot. This redevelopment of Sarojini Nagar and Netaji Nagar, we have first tried to place our buildings in such a way that no trees are cut. And in second phase is that whatever needs to be cut, then they have to be replanted. No cutting. It is all replanting. And now machinery is available, technology is available, how to shift the tree, a full grown tree, and then to be able to make it survive also. So that is all taking place. So I mean that cutting is finished. Replanting has started now. Earlier it used to be. So that if you are able to save those trees, it's a big thing.
What are the key challenges do you think that the industry faces when it comes to moving from the traditional construction method to the method where they have to reduce their carbon footprint, be sustainable and be net zero? And why is it so? Why I'm asking is this: a lot of builders, when we talk to, they are very skeptical to move to this kind of construction method.
I think this is where architect plays a very important role, because he has to convince the client that look, if you do this, you will be able to get a better FAR, better utilization. You see, what is not only the first time construction, it is basically the maintenance, the ongoing process on the construction will also be affected. It is not only first time construction. If we use solar energy, their power load will get reduced. And it becomes very simple that today most projects are having all their public lighting system like street lights, staircases and all lit by solar only. They are not using the grid power. For that. So that they also understand, yes, this is really saving. This will be a USP they will be offering to their clients. So that is now making people a little bit more aware. And then we have done a lot of time, we have done cost analysis. That if you do this, this will be the cost saved in the initial stage, then this will be cost saved by the building's life cycle. And overall life cycle, what will be the impact of this?
Because you mentioned cost analysis, a lot of builders that we talk to, they are very skeptical to move to this segment because the cost is very high, initial cost, and they don't.
It's not high.
They don't see
it's not really high. It's only that how you present it. You have to tell them that if you do this, it will be very sustainable in future times to come.
So they don't see the return of investment. Why I'm asking is this: they have to maintain the society, the project that they are developing, residential, especially for 5 years because of RERA. After that, they have to give it to the RWA. So their responsibility ends. And anyway, they are selling the property mostly.
See, what is happening is that these measures, if are first incorporated, then introduced to the buyers, it make the sellability also easy. And first, he is getting additional FAR also. So that is getting in return to whatever cost he is putting in, he is getting free.
Correct.
So it is not like that. It is basically the people have to be educated a little bit on these subjects, and I think they are following it. I think now things are changing.
And
things are definitely changing.
Do you think the home buyers are also aware of it?
The RWA, the kind of this knowledge sharing is taking through news media, public media, people are getting aware of it. People are very much aware of it.
Okay.
Long time back, nobody was doing it people were interested in doing it in commercial, residential, sorry. But commercial people were not doing. We did the first platinum rated commercial building for Unity Group, and now they have made a very big, large mall, which is also platinum rated. So you see, buyers are there, they feel proud of, yes, our project is the buyer in the project are very proud of it, that our is a building which is net zero and platinum rated buildings and things like that. So that awareness has come up. And now people are getting so much, concerned about what they are doing for the nature, what they are doing for the sustainability. Even consumers are becoming interested.
What about the projects that have been there for a long time, the buildings that have been there for a long time? So whatever new projects that come up, greenfield projects, they can be developed in certain way.
What we are doing is that for all, I won't say for housing, it has not taken place so much, but for other commercial buildings and all, there is a audit going on, energy audits are going on, and then people are trying to save. See, what has happened is that there has been a lot of shift in technology. Like we have moved from bulbs and tube lights to LEDs. So people understand this thing, that if they put in LED lights instead of these, their power consumption will reduce. Their maintenance cost will reduce, and also people are taking up air conditioning level also, and lighting level also, water usage also. So people are now doing it. There must be I'm not very much aware that if there is a government incentive on this, but all buildings, major office building, because they were the major consumers of these things, are doing energy audits, and they are correcting their things.
Okay. Whenever you talk about net zero, it is that whatever construction carbon emission will happen due to construction of use of cement, steel, etc. They will do some kind of other activities, rainwater harvesting, solar panels, and maybe some planting some trees, and then the overall average would be zero. Do you think that is there something that we can do, that we can reduce the carbon emission during the construction cycle?
That is also taking place. That is also taking, but that is a very, that has a lot of financial implication in terms of changing the processes, changing the production. So that is taking place. But I won't say that, and actually I'm not very much aware of that also, that what all they are doing at plant level. But yes, at least at our level, our building construction level, things have been. Not net zero is in terms of not only saving power and light, water also, but then there is a lot of saving. Even the household waste is also recycled. It is compacted, recycled. So that is also taking place. So in real terms, we want to talk about net zero. Nothing goes out of.
Right. And have you seen any kind of changes in the construction technology in the last few years, that the buildings that you designed 10, 20 years ago and the building that you are designing now, and the technology that is being used while constructing it or while designing it? Have you seen any kind of changes? For instance, there is this light gauge steel frame, LSGF kind of technology that is there.
LGF.
Yeah. You have used it, right?
Yeah.
So what are the things that you are seeing? What are the benefits of using this kind of technology?
Firstly, I would like to tell you that, we have been traditionally using brick and mortar construction, right? So, but construction technology from last 15-20 years has changed drastically.
Yes.
Earlier, we were all doing brick walls, RCC columns, shuttering, steel or scaffolding, shuttering, and all that. So now everything has changed. Now, most of the time we are doing what we normally call as for fast construction. You see, because time has also become essence of the whole thing. People want to make, whenever they launch a project, they want to complete it in time, right? So, the construction technology has not gone up for reducing the time cycle of each slab. So, for that, there is a aluminium formwork system, which is properly known as a Maivan shuttering. It's basically aluminium based shuttering, in which you cast the slab and the walls together. So that is taking place. So now all construction are mostly, well, I think 80% of all high-rise construction beyond 15 floors is being done by Maivan only. So that reduces the time cycle. That gives you a better finished building. You don't need to do any internal plaster. You don't need to do any external plaster. Earlier, there was a problem that we were not able to get masons to go and work at 25th floor or 30th floor. So that is also reduced. So that is a major change in RCC construction. Inside walls are being done by ACC blocks or something like that, which are lighter in weight. So that reduces the load on the building. Then this LGSF you are saying is light gauge steel fabricated materials, C channels and all that. You make the walls out of that by putting boards on both the sides, and the internal walls are like that.
Right.
You can do better insulation into it, better acoustical properties can be done, your conduiting, everything goes into that. So there are a lot of advantages of that. So that is being used, we are using it in a lot of hospitality projects. We are doing a lot of hotels and the walls are done like that. Even residential also is trying, but people are still like, मैं कील ठोकूंगा तो कहाँ जाएगी? So those challenges are being addressed. So, but now it is becoming popular. A lot of new buildings which are coming up, which are totally with that only. We recently did one building in steel. With a footprint of nearly about 10 lakh square feet area, completed within 1 year. It was an 8-story building for defense offices in KG Marg and Africa Bin. Those are completed with dry walls. Even external walls are dry walls with the tile cladding outside.
Right.
All dry cladding, no wet work. And all building done in 1 year, 12 months, including air conditioning, finishing, furniture, everything done, 10 lakh square feet delivered.
12 months only.
12 months.
And do you think the cost would have been the same?
5 to 7%.
Okay.
But the amount of time you save,
yeah, that is the cost.
Phenomenal.
But can this be done in a mass level?
Mass level, why not? Recently, we are making presentation to one public sector undertaking in which we want to do their total housing in that. Some township we are going to do in Gujarat somewhere.
Okay.
Which is totally to be done in steel and all. It is a residential township. That will be done in steel and to be completed in 2 years, roughly about 50 lakh square feet they are targeting.
And if you use steel, don't you think that your carbon footprint would be high?
No, that is what we are doing at that level of. Firstly, that grade of steel has improved.
Achha, okay.
So the section sizes and all are reducing. Then the steel manufacturers are doing a lot of work on this in reducing the carbon footprint in production. It's not only production, delivery, use, even when they are using it and all that. So that is, a lot of work is going on right now currently.
Okay. When we talk about affordable housing, a lot was done during the initial few years of the current government. But after that, even the builders also stopped taking initiative, taking projects which are affordable. One of the reason was the high land prices. But even then, when land was available at lower cost, there was not a lot of enthusiasm from builders to do this kind of affordable housing. Do you see any kind of examples where architects can come in and tell us that this is the kind of design which can be done in a cost effective manner and can be done?
We are very lucky to be associated with one firm which has done extensive work in Haryana on affordable. I think they must have done more than about 30-40 projects, maybe, all on affordable side. And then their delivery was also at time and all that. And they were one of the first one to start with my van shuttle. So I think, see, it has got to do because affordable housing is not a very commercially viable thing. Unless until the rates are good. Now what has certainly started happening is in the market, the land prices are going up. So that is why doing construction in this, if the government is able to provide land at subsidized rates, then this will all take up.
But do you think it's possible? So if so land prices only is the major factor.
See, basically, from a developer point of view, I like to get what I am putting in. At least that much with reasonable profits. But if the land cost starts going up, then it becomes unviable.
Okay. Lot of apart from affordable housing, lot of redevelopment is also happening. It's happening in Mumbai, it's happening in Chennai, it's happening in Delhi or all other places wherever.
Redevelopment is the answer for all the, because you see what has happened was that while we were developing this, like especially Delhi, let's say Delhi. Delhi is a low-rise development. Totally, all government housing which took place, right from central to up to RK Puram and beyond, all low-rise. So if you convert them into high rises, then a lot of housing problem can be solved in the same areas. With that kind of density which can be achieved in that is something which is taking place. So, and government doesn't need, because that will leave us a lot of ground areas available for other uses. So we can give it on a PPP mode also, we can give it on a, government can also do and develop some commercial areas or alternative housing there, which they can sell. So government doesn't need to invest even a single rupee. Like what we are doing today is that Naroji Nagar has already been built and Naroji Nagar's sale is funding the rest of the residential development. So government is not putting in. It is basically that money which NBCC is getting from that, they are using it. They are doing a very fantastic work. They have already started 2 major projects, which are both put together nearly about 400 acres.
Lot of projects you are involved in is into redevelopment. What are the key challenges do you think as an architect you face when it comes to developing these kind of projects? What is the advice that you will give? So for instance, if there is an architect who wants to be in this redevelopment projects or is getting a kind of tender for this, what would you advise to do And what are the challenges that you initially faced when you were developing this project? Because these projects have been going on for a lot of years. So in
No, it is
Delhi
not
and
that.
so.
It's not. Basically, we had this problem when this project started. We started very fast. And within, I think, from the start to about nearly 1.5 years only, we were able to put up the tenders.
Okay.
Because you see, these houses were to be designed as per the government's policy of their housing system. Like they give house type 2 house, type 3 house. So they have standard requirements for that. Standard specifications, standard requirements. So that is how it started. But suddenly, because of the cutting of trees and all that, this project was stopped. And for nearly 2 years, we were not able to do anything on that. Later on, due to some fund problem, because government was not interested in funding it, and the fund has to come from the sale of the. Right. So unless until that project comes up and we are able to sell and get that money, this thing delayed. It is not like that. Now everything, now it's moving at very fast pace.
So from architect, when you were designing it, what were the things that you looked at?
There are not major challenges like that.
Okay.
Basically, challenges were that how you are going to vacate the space for that construction, how you are going to relocate those people, and then those designs have to be compliant to their system. But then earlier it was only ground plus one.
Yeah.
Now those were being built in a multi-story building. Due to airport regulations, we were not able to build more than 10 to 11 floors.
Yes. So
that was the challenge. So those are challenges which can be very easily done.
Yes.
I mean, they are not much major challenges as such. Like Srinivasapuri, because there is no airport conditions, so that's going about 22-25 floors. So that can be done.
When you talk to other urban planners and architects, etc., lot of population will come into urban cities, tier 2 cities, tier 1 cities in the next 1 or 2 decades, right? If we keep on increasing FAR, if we keep on increasing the high-rise buildings, don't you think that would be a strain? Because that is their view. Don't you think this would be a strain to the infrastructure, because there is a limit to which the infrastructure can be expanded? Water, that is there, other things are that are there. Is there any kind of solution?
Water, we have been able to convince government authorities that whatever was the water consumption level before these inputs of net zero things and all were not there, we are using the nearly same kind of water requirement is same, because now we are reusing that water.
Achha.
One is that because of the new flushing system, low flow taps and all that, our water consumption has come down. Number one. Number two, all flushing water is nothing new, no new fresh water is used. It's all recycled water. Gardening, recycled water. Right? So that way we are able to convince them, yes, that our water requirement is not too much. Then when you have a STP, you are not adding load on your sewer lines outside the trunk sewer lines. So that is also reduced. So there is not much of it. Only thing will be that there will be little bit of more traffic being generated there. And that can be taken up. Metros is already doing public transport infrastructure. If it is improved, then that local government has to support that by increasing those things. Roads can be widened because your ground coverage remains same and your number of dwelling units can be increased. So I don't see any challenge on that. Okay. It can be done. If a proper planning is done, it can be done.
Okay.
But when you increase the road widths, you create now what we are trying to create is that cycle path being introduced, wider footpaths can be provided, and things like that. So those will come in. If the public transport system is improved, metros, and then now a lot of emphasis is on the integrating of these transport modal systems, like multimodal hubs are coming up. Right, so there will be bus station, there will be connectivity to the railway station, your metros will be there, your last mileage coverage by auto rickshaws or electrical EV rickshaws will be there. So they will all be in one station, so that you don't need to spend too much of time going here and there.
A lot of design changes have taken place in the last few years. One of the major reason is because the builders are now moving into luxury projects. How, from an architect point of view, how have you seen, so pre-COVID if we talk about, post-COVID if we talk about, how have you seen the design changes happening? What are the, so if you were developing a project in 2018-19 and if you are developing now 2024-25, what changes have you seen in the projects that are being developed?
No, builders do what they are able to sell. I mean, what if the demand changes, the builder will change their requirements. Earlier, people were happy with having a 3-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house, or maybe a 2-bedroom house. Now, after experiencing COVID and the problems with the COVID, the mindset has changed. People want better, bigger houses, right? 2-bedroom nowadays is just very minimum sale is taking place nowadays, especially in major cities like Delhi. Smaller cities, yes, still they are selling because affordability is a question. Then what is happening is that people now want bigger houses. Like a small thing like a study has become mandatory in every house because a lot of things are happening online. The husband is attending his office online, children are reading, studying online, people are doing extracurricular activities like dancing, and my granddaughter learned dance online only. People are doing yoga. So those things, so people need that kind of area. So requirements have changed. People have understood the use of larger balconies, wraparound balconies. So all these things change, and then the builders also change their requirements. It's not that only builders want to sell 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom houses, but the demand is like that. So basically, it's all demand based.
A lot of buildings in the last few years, if you look at it, different cities, they have seen demolition. They have been brought down because of the low construction quality that was there. This has happened in Delhi. This has happened in Chennai. This has happened in Kolkata. Everywhere, a lot of buildings have seen cracks. A lot of illegal construction has taken place. From an architect point of view, the building average age should be 50-60 years or more. Even if you look at historical monuments, they have been there for decades and even centuries. So what is it that these buildings have done wrong? What role architects play that these buildings have been there for 10 years and they have seen cracks, they have seen low construction quality, etc. Why is it this is happening on that much frequency? If we are moving to good construction technology, if we are moving to good construction quality, why this keeps happening in different cities?
One of the major reasons has been use of not proper water for the construction.
Okay. Acha.
Especially in Delhi, around Delhi, whatever cracks and dismantling is happening is because of that. And then of course, at times the construction quality is poor. I mean the use of low use of cement, or maybe steel has been saved, or something. That is also possible. But mainly it is because of that, good quality, But now with this new technology like MyVan and all that, that can be controlled. Higher grade of concrete is being used and things like that. So that is taking place.
Do you think architects are also need to be blamed, or is just the structural engineers?
As an architect or an engineer also, I can say that we have, actually speaking, we have very little control over what the construction and how the construction is done at site. We have very limited control on that. It's basically the engineering staff or the PMC which is taking care of the project. They have a major role on day-to-day basis. An architect visits only about in a fortnight time, monthly visit. So that then you cannot control that thing. Even then we have been talking about like a lot of authorities are asking us to sign a completion certificate saying that yes, we have supervised. It's impossible for any architect to be able to.
This is happening in West Bengal, I think.
All even Delhi, even Delhi.
Architect needs to sign that this building is certified.
So that is not right. Even engineers, you see, civil engineer or a structural engineer gives a drawing. Now what has been done at the site is, I mean, he cannot control it.
How much difference does happen when you are designing a building? Whenever it comes, the requirement comes from a builder, when you are designing according to the requirement, and when it comes to implementation, how much difference do you see, and what are the things that happens during that process?
Ideally speaking, there should not be any difference, major difference. I mean, few specifications can change during the course of construction. Certain materials are changed or something. But otherwise, there is no reason for any change.
Then why do you think that architects cannot sign a certificate?
No, see, basically signing is that we are certifying the quality of construction which is taken. I am not signing on design. I am signing. I can sign my structural drawing and give it to you. Now, what that structural drawing has been finally implemented at site is basically the site staff. The site engineers, the PMC which is looking after that project, it is their job. So he cannot sign. A client's engineer who has looked after the construction can sign.
Yeah.
Our engineers, our structural engineers will not be able to sign it. But we are forced to do that. So we over, but I think slowly and gradually, because a lot of action has been taken against those engineers and architects.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have to stop doing that. We will not be in a position to sign those.
Do you think there is any solution to this?
No, solution is that then we should be, as far as the architectural design is concerned, that it complies with the code. What are the code requirements? He can sign.
Right.
Whatever spaces or whatever has been given in the brochure to the buyer, he can sign it.
Right.
But what has been done at the construction site is not. Nowadays, what is happening is that you have an architect, concept architect, then you have a liaison architect who gets the plan sanction, then you have structural engineers, then you have structural. Nowadays, it has also become mandatory, especially in Haryana, that you have a structural engineer and you have a proof checker also. So once the structural design has been proof checked also, and the proof checking is also taken by IIT also, then his responsibility finishes there basically. Then it is basically the executing team. So those certifications should be done from execution team, not from the architects basically.
From architect again, I want to ask is, a lot of buildings that we see, whether it's in Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, they look similar. And so what used to happen before was every city, every building that was there in Lucknow or in Jaipur or in Madhya Pradesh, they had their own identity. They had their own design. Now, whatever building, whether it's commercial, residential, it's more or less same. As an architect, do you think this is a responsibility from your industry as well, that they have been designing similar projects because it's easy to design? Or do you think that it cannot be incorporated, the design that used to happen before, it cannot be incorporated in the buildings that we're designing now?
No. The thing is that whatever, even when nowadays also, we get this thing, feedback from line, like if you're doing we were doing one railway stations. So they wanted that local architecture should come in. Whereas the other was that should have an international look. So I mean that balancing has to be done. That depends upon the see basically otherwise nowadays architects will be designing mostly towards the international standards.
Okay.
So that there's a lot of discussion going on the minimum systems, minimalistic architecture, and then simple architecture,
minimalistic,
lines. And then you have other end is that you are trying to do more modern things, like different kind of design, using a lot of green area and all that. So that is totally changing. I mean, it cannot be just like the Jaipur has to, then you have to have chhatris and you have to have some arches and all that. It's not necessary.
But don't you think they were there because they were looking at the climate and all the things that were there, and then they were designing?
The climate has also, earlier the focus was on orientation, climate, things like that, wind, direction. That has lost quite a lot because nowadays when you're doing a housing, it's not possible to do that kind of thing. Right? Your individual housing, it was possible because individual house could be designed individually. When you're doing a larger housing project or a commercial project, and those things become little. And our living habits have also changed. I mean, we are not so much concerned about the wind directions, especially in larger apartments. We have all our air conditioning. So that we have lost something on that. As far as construction in line with the local climate is still a need of ours. It is not being followed totally. It is up to some extent, yes, it is followed. Not totally, I agree with you. But not the architectural styling. Like the south buildings should look like their temples. And
they have to have their faces should be from the west side or
Vastu, that is Vastu.
No, not the Vastu. So because if you have to reduce the sunlight that is coming in. So if your windows is facing from on the east, or if your window is facing when the sun is setting, then the heat would increase. But if you are facing it on the other side, then the heat would reduce. Something like that.
Something like that can be done. That is being done up to some extent. But when you have a larger housing scheme, then it becomes little different.
Okay. Seen a lot of projects. You already have a lot of projects in international countries. You would have seen a lot of projects in international countries, in Middle East, in Europe, etc. What are the things that we can learn from these projects and then it implement it in within the India and customize it to Indian local environment, etc. What are the things that can be brought in the designing of residential commercial sector, and what are the things that Indians are doing very well in the construction industry or designing industry, and from the architects that are doing something new that can be brought into the international level?
No, every country has its own unique requirements, especially when we talk in terms of construction technology. Yes, different countries have different advantageous construction technologies, which we are trying to follow also. That we are trying to do that. Like earlier, we were not doing too many buildings in steel, especially residential, but now we are trying to do them because of the reason of the speed of construction and the time of delivery reduced. That we are trying to pick up from there. A lot of drywall working was being done abroad. We are trying to do that. A lot of facade treatments we are trying to use from them. Basically, we are learning a lot of things from them also. But at the same time, as far as the building design is concerned, that is mostly depending upon the local needs and local environmental conditions and things like that. So that is taking place. Local materials also plays a very important role. So we can't have same materials there and their materials here. That is not that's a difficult thing to do.
Right. Even though India has seen a lot of tall buildings, especially in Mumbai or in metro cities, but we haven't seen the skyscrapers that have been developed in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi or in New York, etc. Do you think that India needs this kind of skyscrapers? And if they do, what is it that is keeping the builders away from developing these kind of really tall skyscrapers?
Firstly, is that we don't current situation is like that. We are not so much scared of scarcity of land is not there.
Scarcity.
Not necessarily going up. Then we have some constraints about fire and
earthquakes.
All that. So those are being addressed right now. I mean, a lot of new codal requirements have been incorporated for very high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
In Delhi, currently we are doing one of the highest residential tower, but it is only about 48 floors.
Yeah.
But very soon, in Noida, somebody is developing something like about 80 stories or more than that. So those things are coming up. They have their cost implication also. They have their other issues also. So that is being looked after, and then it will come. It's a matter of time only. Mumbai is doing much higher buildings than Delhi.
Yeah.
Calcutta has also done some higher buildings.
Okay. Last two questions. One is the lot of foreign companies that have come in India in the last 10, 15 years, and a lot of foreign funds have come in the last 5 years. They have brought in with them the kind of standards and requirements, especially in the commercial hospitality buildings, that they want buildings for a certain standards. They want to follow certain norms. Do you think this has improved the kind of commercial buildings that we were developing before, and the buildings that we are developing now, the kind of tenant requirements that is there? So tenants also, if foreign tenants are coming in, they require some kind of certain aspects to it. Do you see this kind of requirements coming into you as an architect? Do you see this kind of changes?
All buildings which you design have. So see, whatever the experiences of the international firms, international players in space, office use or commercial use or hospitality, they have their requirement which has been developed through the years. So if they come to India and they want some things, it will also improve our working also. Not only in terms of what are the kind of facilities we are doing, even it has helped us in improving our working style also. So there's nothing wrong in that.
Now SEBI introduced a new BRSR core in FY23. This was mandated for top 100 companies. Then it went for top 1000, then for all. According to this BRSR clause, the disclosure of green buildings, what are the green initiatives that you are taking, what are the net zero initiative that you are taking, your carbon footprint, how much it is, etc., has to be disclosed as of now. By this financial year, it is for top 1000 buildings and then for others as well. Do you think this also can lead to real estate companies which are listed, and then the steel industry, cement industry that are listed, and then because all the value chain has to be net zero, the whole ecosystem has to be net zero, and they have to disclose this? Do you think this can help improve move in the direction that we are moving towards?
Certainly, it will improve, and then it will become a little bit more transparent.
Yeah.
So what you are doing is being displayed. So whatever is being, that will help quite a lot in doing this. And it's a good initiative. People will be a little bit concerned about whether to give this information, not to give this information. But then I think ultimately it will be good, because if they have to disclose what they have done, it will encourage this thing.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mathur. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing your views.